So what I'm really here to talk about today, besides the marketing, is the propaganda that we're always bombarded with. And propaganda has been around for a long time. Edward Bernays actually brought propaganda to the forefront in the 20s. And I have the book Propaganda that he wrote, and it's very enlightening. We seem to think that we are above it because we know what's happening. Unfortunately, we're being manipulated. And we know that too, but even though we know it, our guard is still not fully up. So giving you some examples, propaganda, the definition of it is the spreading of ideas, information, or rumor for the purpose of helping or injuring an institution, a cause, or a person. Ideas, facts, or allegations spread deliberately to further one's cause or to damage opposition. It sounds like a political campaign. So Edward Bernays, back in the 20s, when he wrote this book, he actually would use his talents as a marketing tool. He was a nephew of Sigmund Freud. He did believe in the psychoanalysis as his uncle did. And I have some quotes here. The intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. We are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes are formed, our ideas suggested largely by men we have never met. This is a logical result of the way in which our democratic society is organized. Groupthink, group mind, opinion molding to the masses. This has been happening to us for a long time. I think we just started to realize by listening to psychobabble and realizing that people cannot anticipate what other people are going to do for certainty. One of the quotes was, if we understand the mechanisms and the motives of the group mind, it is not impossible to control and regiment the masses according to our will without their even knowing it. I find that really disturbing because a lot of times people think things happen for, like with a coincidence or happenstance, and I don't believe in either. I believe things are orchestrated and they are very well thought out through strategy. Today we call people that mindlessly follow others through talking points or political rhetoric, we call them sheeple. All right, but they've been around a long time too, and Edward Bernays actually thought everybody was a sheeple. According to his daughter, he would continuously say how his help or even people around him were stupid or idiots. So through commercials and news agencies that we trust, we too can be manipulated. We need to do our homework on these propositions. We can't leave it to somebody with an R or a D or an L or an I behind their names to give us the information. We need to be responsible for the information that we receive as truth, and that we then vote according to what we believe. I guess here's a little sample of how we are manipulated. Can everybody spell baloney without singing it? B-A-L-O-G-N-A. Nice. So even back in the history of when we've been watching, our generation, my generation, has been influenced through television, through commercials. We've been flocked in front of that television as a babysitter a lot. We are as much accustomed to the television as now the younger generation is accustomed to the internet. Fortunately for us, our jobs aren't tied to the television where theirs is a lot of times, and they really can't escape it. So in concluding, just to let you know, Edward Bernays, he was in the forefront of this. He is actually why we have bacon and eggs, ham and eggs for breakfast, because he worked for BeachNut, and they were selling bacon and pork and needed to increase their sales. Another one is 50% of the market of cigarettes was not being tapped, and that was the women. So in the 20s, in New York, Easter Day Parade, debutantes, paid by Bernays, lifted up their skirts in their garter, and there was that cigarette, and they were called Liberty Sticks. And so instead of buy a cigarette, it came in the side door as Liberty, because of the suppression for women not being able to smoke as a man can. So, one more thing. Does everybody know what the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act is?
2,300 pages of it.
Do we know what we call it?
Yeah.
Obamacare. Actually, that can be spun both ways. Either it can be Obama Cares, or it can be Obamacare, we know who we're going to blame. Okay, so bottom line, a lot of this has to do with newspeak, doublespeak, the redefining of terms, the spin, the attention given to one section of a bill or a proposition, other elements purposefully avoided so that we won't read it, see it, and realize it'll affect us. Even though we trust people in the media, Fox News, ABC, NBC, it doesn't matter. Do your own homework and be responsible for the information that you then pick up that pen and vote for. Thank you.